You look incredibly successful on the outside, but behind closed doors, you are exactly one missed paycheck away from total financial ruin. It's time to wake up. I want you to imagine this. It's a bustling morning downtown. You walk into your go-to coffee shop, a steaming $6 latte in hand. You're wearing a sharp suit, radiating confidence, and you proudly pull out a shiny platinum credit card to swipe. It looks like you've got the world in the palm of your hand, right? That picture-perfect guy? That was exactly me over 10 years ago. Now, in my 40s, after years of financial consulting and looking back at my 20s and 30s, I realize I just played the glamorous role of the American dream a little too well. Have you ever felt like that? That absolute high, a massive rush of dopamine flooding your brain every single time you swipe that card for a new watch or to book a flight, all justified by that one familiar excuse. It's fine, I'm earning miles and reward points. From a behavioral science perspective, our brains are surprisingly easy to manipulate. Financial institutions have engineered incredibly sophisticated reward systems to completely erase the physical pain of parting with your money, leaving you to just keep swiping in a state of mindless bliss. But have you ever really been there? That moment you're sitting alone in your gorgeous apartment, staring at a sky-high FICO score on your phone screen, but deep inside your chest, there's just this terrifying, suffocating emptiness. On the outside, I looked like a winner, but the brutal truth was I had absolutely nothing. I was trapped deep in the vicious paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, exhausted, waiting for that next direct deposit, just to hand over all my hard-earned money to pay for the lifestyle I had borrowed the month before. That is not success. It's a fragile illusion, built precariously on top of a mountain of debt. It's a typical Friday afternoon. You're clearing off your desk, pumped for a perfect weekend getaway. But suddenly, an email from HR flashes across your screen. Notice of layoff. Or maybe it isn't an email. Maybe it's that horrifying clunking sound from your transmission while you're driving down the highway, followed by a surprise $3,500 repair bill. That exact moment when the universe suddenly delivers a brutal slap in the face and you realize in sheer panic, your credit cards are completely maxed out and you don't have a single dollar in cash reserves. That feeling isn't just anxiety. It's a crushing, suffocating sense of collapse because you know you have absolutely no way out. Right there at that dark rock bottom, all the masks fall off. I had to completely reevaluate my entire belief system, and I learned 3 brutal lessons. Number 1, the psychological disconnect. From a neurological standpoint, that piece of plastic injects a perfect dose of anesthesia right into your brain. It completely masks the very real pain of paying, making all your meticulous Excel budgets totally useless because you're just spending unconsciously. Number 2, the rewards illusion. Have you ever felt like this, smugly bragging to your friends about the 2% cashback you earned, while completely turning a blind eye to the extortionate 24% interest rate that's bleeding you dry every single year? Trading thousands of dollars in wasteful spending just to get a few free cups of coffee. That's not financial optimization. That's a rigged bet where the house always wins. And the final, most profound lesson: debt is a raging fire. Carrying credit card debt is not a normal lifestyle. Every single dollar you swipe today for temporary flashiness is actually an act of cruelty. You are literally stealing the sweat, energy, and time from your future self. Standing at the absolute rock bottom of financial exhaustion, looking up at a massive debt that's bleeding you dry every single day, I know that hollow advice like just spend less and save more is completely useless. It's like telling someone who is drowning in the middle of the ocean to just remember to breathe. We don't need empty encouragement. We need a real life raft. We need a crystal clear battle plan. Today, from the perspective of someone who has dug himself out of his own rubble and helped thousands of other young adults across the US do the same, I'm going to hand you a 9-strategy comeback plan. This is the perfect blend of the most classic financial principles and cutting-edge AI automation. Grab a pen and paper because this part is going to completely change how you operate your life. Strategy 1, the 48-hour rule, stopping the emotional bleeding. You can't bail out a sinking boat if you don't plug the hole first. And our biggest hole is impulsive late-night shopping. I want you to imagine this. It's 11 p.m. You're exhausted after a long workday, and you're just scrolling through Instagram in bed. The algorithm throws a targeted ad right in your face for a brand new $400 smartwatch. One tap of Apple Pay, and the very next day it's sitting on your porch. Have you ever been there? Shopping is often just a temporary psychological painkiller for our stress. To break this cycle, I need you to implement the 48-hour rule. Whenever you are about to buy something that isn't an absolute survival necessity, like basic groceries or medicine, put it in your cart and force yourself to close the app. Wait exactly 48 hours. During those 48 hours, the dopamine boiling in your brain will cool down. You will step out of that shopping hangover, and your logic will return. The magic here? In 90% of cases, after 2 days, you'll realize you didn't even need that watch, and you just saved yourself from tacking another $400 onto your existing debt. Strategy 2. The minimalist sell-off, building psychological momentum. When you first start your debt payoff journey, what you need most isn't math, it's a psychological win. You need to see that balance drop immediately so your brain actually believes, wow, I can actually do this. Have you ever experienced this? You look around your apartment and realize it's filled with flashy items you swiped your card for but haven't touched in months. A dusty designer handbag, an old iPad, or an expensive espresso machine just sitting there. The strategy here is to turn your house into a gold mine. Take this entire Saturday, snap photos of everything that doesn't bring you genuine value, and throw them up on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, or Poshmark. Scraping together $500 or $1,000 in cash from selling old stuff won't make you rich. But the feeling of taking that cash, slamming it against your smallest credit card balance, and wiping it out forever will create a massive explosion of motivation in your mind. The relief of decluttering your physical space, combined with the relief of dropping a financial burden, is the ultimate cure. Strategy 3. Cash stuffing, waking up the physical pain. Like I said, plastic cards and digital wallets are the perfect anesthetics. So how do we get our feeling back with money? The answer lies in a method that might seem old school, but it is the most powerful psychological weapon you have: cash stuffing. Instead of relying on budgeting apps, where you can easily just swipe away an over-budget notification, withdraw your entire variable living expenses, groceries, gas, random shopping, in physical cash. Lay it all out on the table and divide it into physical envelopes clearly labeled with categories. For example, let's say you allocate $300 for groceries and dining out this month. When you have to physically hand a crisp $20 bill to a cashier, your brain instantly triggers a sense of loss. That sting is our natural biological braking system, and the golden rule is this: when that takeout envelope is empty, you are not allowed to cheat and swipe your card. Empty means you have to cook at home with whatever ingredients are left in your fridge. That restriction will feel wildly uncomfortable at first, but that exact discipline is what will finally set you free from the grip of credit. Strategy 4. The avalanche method, mathematical optimization. Once you've stopped the emotional bleeding, it's time to bring math into the fight. A lot of people make the mistake of paying a little bit across all their cards, or just making the minimum payments. I have to tell you a brutal truth about the US financial industry. Minimum payments are meticulously designed not to help you pay off your debt, but to keep you enslaved as an interest-paying servant to the banks for the next 20 to 30 years. The avalanche method requires you to list out all your debts, not by the balance size, but by the annual percentage rate, APR, from highest to lowest. You still make the minimum payments on everything so you don't get penalized, but every single drop of extra financial firepower, from selling your stuff, from savings, must be ruthlessly aimed at blasting away the debt with the highest interest rate first, like that card charging you 24%. Just like putting out a fire, you have to dump water where the flames are the highest and destroying your house the fastest. Once that 24% debt is dead, you take all the money you are throwing at it and roll it over into the debt with the second highest rate, say 18%. Just like a snowball rolling down a mountain, your striking force gets bigger and bigger, and you will save thousands of dollars in pointless interest. Strategy 5. AI cash flow automation, velocity banking. We are living in 2026, and leveraging AI technology is an advantage you cannot afford to ignore. Did you know that credit card interest in the US is calculated based on your average daily balance, not just a one-time snapshot at the end of the month? That means if you hold a high balance for 29 days and pay a chunk off on the 30th, you're still getting hit with a massive interest charge. This is where AI algorithms flex their muscles. There are smart apps out there, like Opportune or Capital, that utilize what I call the velocity banking strategy. Once linked to your checking account, the AI analyzes your daily income and spending habits and automatically finds safe, idle cash, maybe just 10 or 15 bucks. Then, every 2 to 3 days, the AI automatically extracts that spare change and funnels it straight into your credit card debt. I want you to imagine this. Instead of waiting until the end of the month, your debt balance is being shaved down every single day, completely unconsciously. This continuous payment action crushes your average daily balance down to the absolute minimum. Looking back after a year, you won't just have paid down a huge chunk of principal without even feeling the pinch. You will have effectively robbed the banks of hundreds of dollars in interest they otherwise would have pocketed. Strategy 6. The 0% APR balance transfer loophole. If your credit score is still sitting in a decent range, above 680, there is an incredible tool called the 0% balance transfer card. Banks constantly roll out new cards with 0% introductory APR for the first 18 to 21 months, just to lure in new customers. Let's say you have $10,000 of debt on card A at 24% interest, and the interest alone is swallowing hundreds of dollars a month. The strategy here is to open card B and transfer that entire $10,000 over. For the next 18 months, the interest rate hurricane is completely frozen. Every single dollar you pay each month will smash 100% directly into the principal. It's like being pulled into a safe underground bunker so you can heal your wounds. But this is an incredibly dangerous double-edged sword. So many people fall into a tragic trap. They do the balance transfer, see that card A is now sitting at 0, and they start swiping card A again. The result? 18 months later, they are sitting on $20,000 of debt. So my absolute survival rule is this. The second you complete that balance transfer, you must go into your banking app and hard lock the old card. Or do it the old school way. Freeze it in a block of ice in your freezer. Do not let your future greed destroy today's master plan. Strategy 7. Peer-to-peer, P2P consolidation. When banks turn their backs. There will be times when debt has tanked your FICO score so badly that when you knock on the doors of traditional banks asking for a consolidation loan, they just shake their heads and deny you. You feel completely cornered. But the modern financial world isn't just run by big banks anymore. Look into peer-to-peer, P2P lending platforms like Prosper or Lending Club. These organizations use alternative data. They don't just look at your FICO. They use AI to analyze your history of paying utility bills on time or your rent payment history to assess your actual reliability. The reality is, you can absolutely bundle up 3 credit cards drowning in 25% interest and take out a single loan from a P2P lender at an interest rate of maybe 12 to 15%. This doesn't just cut your interest pressure in half, it provides massive mental liberation. Instead of juggling 3 different due dates every month in a state of sheer panic, you now only have to face one single, fixed, clear payment with a definitive end date. Strategy 8. The side hustle sinkhole. Have you ever experienced this? You get highly motivated, pick up some overtime, drive Uber on the weekends, or open a little Etsy shop selling digital designs. That first month, you make an extra $500. But instead of paying off your debt, you tell yourself, I worked so hard. I deserve a nice dinner and a new shirt. And just like that, that $500 completely evaporates without a trace. In economics, this is called Parkinson's law of money. As your income goes up, your expenses automatically bloat to match it. To obliterate this lifestyle inflation, you have to turn your debt into a literal cosmic black hole. The rule of this method is 100% of the income from your side hustle is never allowed to touch the checking account you use for daily living. You must set up direct deposit to funnel every single penny of it straight to your loan servicer. That cash flow never touches your hands. It never even shows up on your consumer banking app. Out of sight, out of mind. The magic of this method is that you maintain your current lifestyle with your day job, while your side hustle silently and aggressively obliterates your debt behind the scenes at lightning speed. Strategy 9. Strategic AI settlement bots for old debt. This final strategy is for the deepest wounds. If you have old debts, like medical bills or ancient credit cards, that have been neglected for over 3 years, shipped off to collections agencies, and your phone is blowing up with their calls every single day. The shame and fear are so heavy, you don't even dare pick up the phone. The truth about the debt collection industry is this. These agencies buy your debt from the original banks for absolute pennies on the dollar. Therefore, they are highly willing to settle if you can offer a lump sum payment. But trying to negotiate over the phone yourself with professional debt collectors is psychological torture. Today, you can use legitimate AI negotiation bots like Do Not Pay or SoloSuit. These AI models have analyzed millions of legal records. They know exactly what the collection agency's weak points are and what the absolute floor price they'll accept is. You just authorize them, and the AI bot automatically drafts and sends razor-sharp legal letters to the agency, demanding to wipe out your $5,000 debt for maybe just $1,500. Letting a machine handle these heavy, toxic conversations doesn't just save you thousands of dollars, it completely rescues your dignity and your peace of mind. You see, the journey out of the darkness of debt is not some overnight miracle. It is a combination of ruthless discipline and razor-sharp strategy. When you simultaneously deploy all 9 of these weapons, from creating friction with physical cash and optimizing with the avalanche method, to using AI to negotiate and erode your interest, that $30,000 mountain of debt is no longer an invincible monster. It just becomes a math problem waiting to be solved. The choice is yours. Keep letting the system bleed you dry, or stand up and take back absolute control of your life. I think you already know the answer. Imagine waking up on a sunlit Monday morning. Instead of your first reflex being to grab your phone, holding your breath while you check your bank balance and collection emails like you used to, you just smile, stretch, and take your time brewing a fresh cup of coffee. From a neurological perspective, when you no longer carry the heavy burden of debt, your cortisol levels, the stress and anxiety hormone, drop to their absolute lowest. That priceless peace and relief is something no shiny platinum card can ever buy. But once the darkness of debt is finally in your rearview mirror, we can't just stop at surviving. It is time to shift your strategy from playing defense to playing offense. We're going to reuse that exact same ruthless discipline and the 9 weapons we just established to pump a massive cash flow into 2 ultimate shields for your life. First, a fully funded 6-month cash emergency fund. And second, a Roth IRA. For working professionals here in the US, a Roth IRA combined with investing in an S&P 500 index fund isn't just a savings vehicle. It is a literal time machine that leverages the power of compound interest to multiply your wealth completely tax-free. In our younger years, we all grinded ourselves to the bone just to buy expensive things, trying to fill an ego void and impress complete strangers. But as you cross into your 30s and hit your 40s like I am now, you realize a profound financial philosophy. The true meaning of wealth has absolutely nothing to do with how many designer labels you own. Money, at the end of the day, is the ultimate tool to buy back your time. It gives you the ultimate privilege to say no to the things you hate and allows you to seize the freedom to design your life exactly the way you want it. I know, after hearing all of this, walking away from the flashy world of heavy metal credit cards to go back to physical dollar bills might leave you feeling a bit unsteady and empty. But from a behavioral psychology standpoint, if we want to truly break a toxic spending habit, we absolutely must introduce a physical intervention strong enough to shock our brains awake. So, the most sincere piece of advice I can give you, coming straight from my own deep financial scars, is this. If you are feeling suffocated by the endless cycle of debt, find the courage to grab a pair of scissors and chop up those credit cards tonight. Do not be afraid of the restriction or putting yourself on a strict cash budget, because the discipline you endure today is an incredibly cheap price to pay to buy back your freedom and a peaceful night's sleep for tomorrow. When you physically cut through that piece of plastic, you are literally snapping the invisible chains holding your future hostage. And to walk alongside you during these challenging first steps, I've put together a completely free gift. It's an ebook called The 7-Day Financial Declutter Challenge, a highly actionable roadmap designed to help you clean up your financial mess and take back control in just one short week. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button and click the link down in the description to download it right now. Finally, before we wrap up today's video, I really want to hear from you. Drop a comment down below and let me know, what is the absolute biggest and most expensive money lesson you learned while navigating your 20s and 30s? Please share it, because your honest story might just be the exact spark of hope and the life raft someone else needs while they're currently drowning. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with me today. I wish you the best in reclaiming your freedom, and I'll see you in the next video.